Hello, guys, and welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now, you'll all notice because we have unintentionally all worn black. Apparently, there was a memo. I didn't get it, but we've all done it anyway. But it's fitting because this week is historical. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. It's another one of these fights, isn't it? Similar to Taylor Serrano back in April. We've been talking about it for, it feels like years. And we finally got it, and we've got a stacked undercard as well, which for me makes it all the better. So we'll get straight into this one. We'll start with the main event, Shields Marshall. Yes, I'm going to hand it over to you first. We touched on it briefly in our live, but just give us a quick breakdown of how you think this fight plays out.
Yeah, I think fair play to Boxer and Sky Sports. Firstly, shout out to all the viewers. Please like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel Between the Ropes TV and our Instagram page and our TikTok page. Firstly, yeah, big shout out to Boxer, Sky Sports, the UK hosting this event. It's a magnificent event, and it's really women's boxing is really starting to show up the men's boxing. I'm going to be honest in saying it because the big fights are happening a lot easier. There's no resistance to big fights happening. People are fighting each other. The best are fighting the best. You've got champions calling each other out. So I think we're in for a very good night of boxing in the capital, in London. So there's a few similarities as we discussed amongst ourselves previously in our group chat about this fight compared to the Taylor Serrano fight. What have we got? We've got Claressa Shields with the decorated amateur background. Two-time gold medalist at the 2012 London Olympics and the 2016 in Rio. She calls herself the GWALT. She's that typical American kind of brash, trash talking. And then you've got the, Marshall, who's a lot more chilled and composed. She came through as a bit of a shy character, but she's really starting to find her confidence as time's going along. I feel like we're in a very good era right now with women boxing, and they're really showing up the men's boxing. And my opinion on it, like I said in one of our previous videos, I feel like Claressa Shields will win by a points decision.
Wow. Well, we'll come back to this in a second. Ray, me and you've been going back and forth on this for months. I'm disappointed isn't even the word in Yas that he's come here, he's taking your side. He clearly hasn't watched this channel because apart from one outrageous decision in Saudi, I'm right. But Ray, are you completely with Yas? Can you see Shield having any issues with Marshall, or Yas makes it sound quite straightforward. How do you think it's going to go?
She will have some issues with Marshall. She will have some issues to contend with. Because she has size, and Marshall will be a problem for her. I think as well, Savannah Marshall's improved a lot since I first saw her in 2016, 2017. Since she started training over in America. I believe that our first trainer in the States was the same fella that's now training Alicia Baumgartner. So when she's made some improvements, her footwork starting to improve, which is going to help her. She's going to want to cut off the ring. That's how you stop somebody who's adept on their feet from moving about the place. You got to cut off the ring. Has it improved that much that she can stop Claressa Shields from working and moving her feet? I'm not too sure. We're going to find out on Saturday night. But the fight will be competitive at parts. I think the biggest thing to know is, and Yas made a really good point about women's boxing taking over the men's. I definitely think in terms of the big fights, they're very exciting. But one of the reasons for that, not many people are talking about it, is that in terms of the lengths of the rounds. When you've got 10 2-minute rounds, it makes for a more exciting round, more exciting fight. It's a bit like the way I compare it is like cricket. You've got like your regular cricket, and then you've got like the hundreds or the all 2020 cricket. It's more condensed and it's shorter. It's more intense. I think with the shorter rounds, I favour Claressa Shields. I think Claressa Shields' style's more amateur-like, and that'll give her more success in the fight. I think Claressa Shields has got the ability to hit, tuck up, not get hit, and see out the rounds. I think that'll frustrate Savannah Marshall, who'll be looking, who'll get so frustrated she'll start looking for the big shot. And when she starts looking for the big shot, she starts leaving herself open. And that's when Claressa Shields' spiel take over. So I can see where Yes is coming from. I can see it going to a point win. There will be some hairy moments for Claressa Shields, particularly when every time Savannah Marshall throws any type of punch, whether it lands or not, the crowd's going to be in her favour. But I see Claressa Shields winning this fight.
See, now, again, I'm still disappointed. I hope by now you'd come round to my way of thinking. But I can't get past. And don't get me wrong, I agree. And there's more to come on the round length in women's boxing. But for me, I can't get past for Savannah Marshall. And I know she's not always been in with the caliber of opponents that potentially Shields has, when you look at resumes. However, Shields has got to be perfect for every second of that 10-round fight. Now, I know it's not the 36 minutes that obviously the men have. It's just 20 minutes. But for me, we've not really seen Shields' chin properly have a test. She's been clipped a few times. But for me, if Marshall lands, that power is otherworldly. There's been various stories over the years come out about, sparring men and putting men down. And, I don't mean to sound sexist there, but it's not too often you hear of stuff like that. So for me, if she lands, I think Shields is in a world of bother. Don't get me wrong, I could be sat here on Saturday thinking, oh dear, like if Shields may have a chin, I don't know. But I just always think you can never rule the power puncher out. We were obviously talking a couple of months ago, Ray, when this fight was first getting talked about, as if it could really happen, about it being up in a stadium in the northeast. And I said, I think that's a massive advantage. If she can get 50,000 in St. James's or, one of the various venues that you get gifted with up there, that's a huge advantage. But in fairness, we did also say the counter to that is Shields is quite up for almost being the pantomime villain at times. Do you think the O2 favours either of them? Because obviously it's still technically in the UK for Marshall, but Shields has been over here before, obviously in Cardiff last time out. Does the venue make a difference? I'll go to you first, Ray.
No, because Claressa Shields can't sell tickets in America, and that's the only reason why the fight's happening in the UK. I mean, wherever have you seen a two-way undisputed world champion fight and defend their titles in the UK? Jolie fighter I can think of who has ever done something like that is Usyk when he fought Tony Bellew to unify the cruiserweight, to defend his undisputed cruiserweight titles. That's the only time. It's very, very rare that it happens, and it only happens when somebody can't sell tickets or from a country where it's they're not going to make as much revenue. But I think that's by the by. I think when you've got two caliber fighters like this, I actually think because of how nervous Savannah Marshall can get, it might be a disadvantage to have it at somewhere like St. James's Park or the Stadium of Light or the Riverside, because just how. I'll give you an example. I know she's come on a long way, but we're all talking about Savannah Marshall's win over Claressa Shields as an amateur. Well, Claressa Shields was 17. If you look at the Olympics, Savannah Marshall didn't do very well at the Olympics. One of the reasons why is because her nerves got the better of her. So how do you think she's going to cope with 50,000 people really putting on the pressure and making some noise? That'll get to her. She's never really fought at that level as a professional. The closest she's got is the Utility Arena in Newcastle, which is, I think holds 9,000 at best. So yeah, we can talk about Savannah Marshall, who hits hard, but then again, so does Christina Hammer, and Claressa Shields dealt with her relatively well and didn't have any problems. So I kind of compare it to Wilder and Fury. Everyone was saying Fury without box belt and no problem, but then you had people saying that Wilder had that puncher detonating. It depends on what style you like. For me, I make no apologies of favouring the outside boxer. I like that style of boxing. And for me, when you have these two styles, usually the boxer comes out on top.
Yes, just very quickly, does the venue give anyone an advantage or disadvantage in your mind, or are you just agreeing with Ray?
I agree with Ray, but I also wanted to add, obviously, I don't think the O2 Arena is like a central hub, it's a world, it's a well-known stage worldwide. So, eyes are going to be watching that from all over the world. I feel like I do agree with Ray, and also I feel like nervous energy does have a part to play in this. And now, just adding on to what Rhea said before, we've seen Savannah, not perform. Like, for example, I believe, whilst walking out to one of the fights, she vomited, right? Previously. Right.
I have no idea. I had no
Yeah, I
idea.
was the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that,
So I
is it
feel like,
professional?
no, I feel it was back in the amateurs.
Oh, right. Yeah. I
So
wouldn't.
we've seen that, and obviously we know Savannah to be like a kind of like a shy kind of character. Obviously, ever since she's joined with Peter Fury, he's really, you can tell like he's really worked on the confidence, and she's really starting to believe in her power more now, etc. Like, she even went as far as saying in the Gloves Are Off the other day that, she's gonna box her and knock her out. So, I don't know what kind of fight to expect, but I feel like this fight is all about reaction. And obviously, how can, Savannah react to, because Claressa is the quicker, she's the more athletic, she's got the faster hands. Obviously, like Ray said, the way she fought was with Christina Hammer. That was, in my opinion, the best performance of her professional career. And Christina Hammer is obviously a little bit similar to kind of Marshall in the sense of like size-wise, and she had that size advantage, and we saw the way Claressa dealt with that. So who knows how this fight is going to play out. Marshall is obviously very dangerous. She's a very powerful puncher. But Claressa is a very decorated amateur with the only one loss to Marshall. So I feel like, that could also play psychological mind games on either fighter. It may spur Marshall on to think, you know what, I've beaten you before, I can beat you again. But it can we also need to take into account that Claressa was 17 years old at the time. So yeah, I don't think the arena has much of a part to play in terms of, the outcome of the fight. But I do feel like we're in for a very good fight. And I feel like, yes, Claressa's been dropped before, so people may question her chin, right? But I feel like it's going to take a lot more to keep her down this fight. She's coming with a point to prove. She's very like emotionally invested in this fight, so she's not going to go down easy. I feel like even if Marshall puts her down, she's going to come back and try to put on a boxing lesson.
No, it's an interesting point, isn't it? So I agree with some of what you're saying, but I also do think, and again, we try and keep the same energy on the channel. We've not seen Shields do that, and that doesn't mean she can't do that. But I think the mix of, again, with the nervous energy for Marshall fighting her corner a little bit, we've seen a different side to her in this fight, and I think sometimes the right opponent brings out what you need, that sort of little bit of a mean streak. And I'm praying that's what we get on Saturday night. But we will see. Our predictions are in. You two are going to look very silly on our reaction on Monday. So if it's me, I won't be on. So we'll move on.
In the corner.
There we go. We'll move on to the Chief Support because this is a stacked card. And again, we've already said it, so not to go over old ground, but fair play to everybody involved because DAZN, Top Rank, Sky, Boxer, everybody was involved in this one. But we're getting Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgardner. Now, Baumgardner burst onto the scene with that surprise stoppage winning. I'll never forget Ray did predict it in fairness over Terry Harper. Ray predicted that one. But Michaela Mayer, I think it's fair to say, in my opinion, she's a step up on what Terry Harper, a weight drain Terry Harper, particularly at that. So, Yas, I'll go to you first. How do you see this one playing out?
If I'm to keep it really short and simple, I do see what's her name, Mayer winning on points. I just feel like she's too crafty. The skill set will come into play. I feel like it will be quite a tough fight, but she should get a decision. She's not the biggest of punchers, but I feel like she'll be able to get the job done.
Is there any truth in it? Baumgardner today has been talking about how Michaela Mayer's like spoiled and become, almost a little bit of a teacher's pet sort of thing for Boxer and Sky. Do you think that could play any part? That gives Baumgardner that dog, or can you not see it having an impact? Yes.
I do feel like she will come with a point to prove, obviously, but I feel like she will come out swinging. We know she likes to come for a fight, but I feel like Mayer might just nick it. I feel like it'll be a really close fight, and Mayer will do enough just to nick it.
I'll go over to you, Ray. Ray, agreeing with Yas, or are we going to create?
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've got to keep. I've got to be consistent on this. I'm of the camp that skills win fights over power. I knew Terry Hart was struggling at the weight, and I knew Bongana was fresh and explosive. So it was a recipe for disaster for Terry that night. Terry at a different weight will cause her all sorts of problems. Mm-hmm. I just think that Mia's skill set is really, really good, and I think she can go and clean up what is a really promising division.
Also, can I add? I also noticed that Maya has quite good head movement, so I feel like Baumgardner might target the body more, but I just feel like it still won't be enough. Like she'll put up a very good account of herself, but just that slick cuteness of Maya will just be enough to nick it for me.
Yeah, that could be the difference. Yeah.
I have to agree. There's no controversy on this one. We're unanimous. Maya and again, I actually agree. I think it's a close one, but I think she just nicks it. And for me, I think both the main event and chief support, we may very well end up seeing rematches. I can see them going down.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we'll just rattle through the rest of the card, guys, for time. And to be fair to Sky, they've pulled out all the stops, haven't they? With Ben Shalom at Boxer, all of their talent that they've invested in over the last 12 months. We've got Lauren Price, she's in with Timea Bellic, Karis Artingstall versus Milena Sakov, Caroline Dubois, who I am a massive fan of. We've talked about her a lot on this channel. She's in with Milena Kaleva, get the name right. And then we've got Ebony Jones, April Hunter, Georgia O'Connor, Shannon Ryan. They're all out on this one. It's an all-female card, and I'm excited about that, to be fair. I'll give you both. Ray, we'll come to you first. Who's the stand? We did talk about this before about it. While it's a great card, it's left side heavy. Is there a standout fight of that undercard that you're looking at, thinking I'm excited for that one?
In terms of a standout fight, no. In terms of standout fighters and progression, there's a few that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they get on. I'm really looking forward to seeing Caroline Dubois' progression. She looks as though, you see, with the men's, I'm looking at my prospects getting the 10 fights, and then I'm giving them some sort of view and analysis of how far they're going to go. But Caroline Dubois has shown me in her previous 2-3 fights that she near enough got all the tools that she requires. You got to remember the strength and depth in women's boxing isn't there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Caroline Dubois gets on. From being in the Northeast, I'm looking forward to seeing April Hunter bounce back again. I'm looking forward to seeing Lauren Price and Karis Artingstall because of their Olympic pedigree and the fanfare turning over. But also Shannon Ryan from 258 Management. There's a lot of talk about her, and there's a lot of talk about it's been quite quiet, and they're usually the ones that in a couple of years' time turn out to be really, really good. So there's a couple of names that it is really sort of like left-hand heavy, but there's a few names out there that I'm keeping a close eye on.
So all of them then, yeah? Yes, I'll go to you, mate. Is there a standout, or are you the same as Ray and me, in fairness?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as you guys. I am excited to see, like, if I had to pick one or two, there's not really standouts, but Caroline Dubois, obviously we know all the ability that she's got. She's very young, so we don't know what heights. With the way female boxing is going, by the time she kind of takes over and whatnot, how far she's gonna go with it. So of course I'm keeping a close eye on her progress. Lauren Price, obviously she will get the attention because of the gold medal at the Olympics and whatnot. So yeah, just pretty much them two really. But I'm really looking forward to the chief support and the main event mainly. But of course, it's a good card overall, and fair play to Boxer for putting on the show.
No, definitely. Guys, we'll wrap it up there. As you've seen, there's a lot of content this week, and we've got plans for so much more. That's one of the reasons Yas has joined us. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.